Okay, I want to call this regular city council meeting of August 18th to order, please. Is there someone that's going to be doing the invocation?
Yes, we have Frank Sasso, and he should be on the line.
I am. That's correct.
Welcome, Frank.
Thank you.
You can go ahead and proceed with the invocation.
Okay, thank you. Let us bow our heads. Dear Lord, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for your Son, Jesus Christ, and for our salvation. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thank you for loving us in your never-ending grace. In the scriptures, Romans 13, you have said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities, since you have established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor, for the various levels of city officials, and in particular for this assembled council. I'm asking that you would graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, including COVID, elections, and racial tensions, a sense of the welfare and true needs of the people of Surprise, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, personal peace in each of their lives, enjoying their tasks. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Surprise. I pray that our city will be a beacon on a hill to those cities around us. I pray that the unity of churches and people will shine brightly. As Jesus tells us, the two greatest commandments are to love God and love people. Let Surprise be the model for other cities and people showing love for you and each other. Thank you, Lord, for our leaders, our city, our state, and our glorious nation. And it is in the mighty and precious name of Jesus that I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you for having me. God bless everybody.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please, Sharon?
Mayor Hall,
Here.
Vice Mayor Judd,
Here.
Councilmember Sanders,
Here.
Councilmember Remley,
Here.
Councilmember Duffy,
Here.
Councilmember Winters,
Here.
Councilmember Hayden. Here. Thank you.
Okay, would you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just as a reminder that if you're on the call, if you can mute your phones or computers, please.
I'll be reading the Drowning Impact Awareness Week proclamation.
Mayor Hall?
Yes.
This is Julie Moore.
Oh, hi, Julie. So the chief can't...
Hi, are you able to hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to thank you for acknowledging the drowning proclamation. And I wanted to mention a few words about it, if I can.
Sure. Why don't you let me read the proclamation
Okay.
first, okay? Let me read
Thank you very much.
Yeah, let me read the proclamation first, Julie, and then I'd like you to say a few words, okay?
Yeah.
Whereas Arizona's future prosperity depends upon the long-term health, safety, and well-being of the nearly 2 million children and teens in our state. And whereas drowning is a top cause of injury and death for children and teens in Arizona, affecting not only the victims, but also families, emergency personnel, and our society as a whole. And whereas child drownings are nearly 100% preventable, including drownings which are classified as maltreatment and make up an average of 1 in 4 cases in Arizona. Whereas research-proven strategies can save lives, including constant and capable supervision restricting access to water, use of life jackets, swimming lessons for adults and children at the appropriate age, rapid emergency response, including CPR and safe, stable, and nurturing relationships and communities to break the cycle of maltreatment. And whereas awareness of the problem is just the first step, evidence-based programs to bring these strategies to families is the best way to save lives. And whereas during the month of August, Phoenix Children's Hospital, in collaboration with state and local governments, community organizations, and private citizens, will be engaging communities throughout Arizona in a coordinated and comprehensive response. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that I, Skip Hall, Mayor of the City of Surprise, do hereby proclaim the month of August 2020 as Drowning Impact Awareness Month and urge all communities and citizens of Arizona to participate in efforts to reduce drowning risk, strengthen families, and protect children and teens. Julie, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much, Mayor Hall. Drownings happen so fast and unexpected. So far this year in Surprise, we've had one drowning involving an elderly female swimming alone. And the Surprise Fire Medical Department would like to remind you to never swim alone. Also, to make sure you have your doors and gates secured and locked for younger kids. It was only a few years ago I ran on a 2-year-old who drowned in a backyard pool due to an unlocked door. It's not like the movies. There's no screaming. It's a silent death. Please make sure you have security devices in place for your pool, but also watch your kids around bathtubs, buckets, pools, and anything else that holds liquids. Thank you so much, Mayor Hall, for acknowledging the drowning proclamation. Stay safe.
Thank you, Julie. Do we have anybody that would like to speak to the council on a non-agendized item?
So we do have one call to the public,
Okay,
and that's Jeremy Flynn. Is that on there? Okay. So Mr. Flynn filled out a call to the public form, but he's not answering the phone right now.
oh, okay. Was there a certain subject? Do we know?
It's a call to the public, but there was no title.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That is all.
All righty. The city manager, do you have a report, city manager? Nope, okay. City clerk, do you have a report?
No report, Mayor.
Okay. All right, there are 45 items on the consent agenda. I say that with a straight face. So is there anyone that would like to remove an item from the consent agenda to be talked about?
Yes, I'd like to pull item 14.
Item number 14, okay. Vice Mayor Judd, item number 14. Okay, anybody else? Put your mic on, Councilman Ringley. You got your microphone on?
Where is it here? Sorry.
It's been put off till September.
Bear with me for a moment.
No, because on the new agenda, it's not even there.
Number 4. And then.
I know.
Yeah.
Can't find his homework.
Can't find it, Ken?
I they even put a note in there.
What was it regarding? Which one?
That's okay. No, that's okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? Okay, so I will entertain a motion for the remainder of the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda minus item 14 and item 2.
I'll second. Been moved and seconded. Please cast your vote.
I am missing Councilmember Winters. Thank you so much. That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay. Very good.
Item 14?
Now, Sherry,
Mhm.
item number 2 was moved by staff to a future meeting, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so we don't need to have any kind of a motion, for that, right? Okay.
No.
Okay, so item number 14, could you read that, please?
Consideration and action pertaining to approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Surprise, City of Glendale, and the Maricopa County Department of Transportation, McDOT, for construction, operation, and maintenance of the traffic signal at Peoria Avenue and Reams Road, Resolution 2020-54.
All right, welcome, Kristen.
Hello, how are you?
So Vice Mayor Judd has a question, and I do too, if he doesn't cover it all. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
So we're putting a traffic control light at Reams and Peoria. And Reams and Peoria is, if I understand this correctly, is 50% owned by Surprise, 25% owned by Maricopa County, and 25% owned by Glendale.
Correct.
And so we're all splitting the cost with those same proportions to install the traffic control device. However, once the device is installed, Surprise is picking up 100% of the maintenance cost.
That's correct. So the reason for that is it's common practice and policy for McDOT when you have a bordering corridor like Peoria that the local agency take the ownership and maintenance of that signal. So you'll see that we did similar IGA on the intersection of Litchfield and Peoria as well back in 2007.
And Litchfield and Peoria is which two jurisdictions?
So that would be Surprise and McDOT's on the south side.
Okay.
And so this enables Surprise to have full maintenance ownership of that Peoria Avenue all the way across. So you'll probably see something very similar when the signal comes in on Peoria and Cotton as
Okay.
well.
So I understand the McDOT portion of that, but why isn't Glendale paying 25% of this?
Yeah, Glendale, this is one small piece. It's kind of an odd spot that Glendale actually has a portion of the roadway. In the future, the idea is that that section may be de-annexed by Glendale, so it would be county in the future.
But for right now, they've annexed it.
Yes, that's
part
correct.
And part of annexing is you take responsibility for
That's
what's there.
correct. Yeah.
And so, in my opinion, they should be paying
Okay.
25% of the ongoing.
Yeah, that's
maintenance costs.
understandable. Yeah, so that, just to follow along what we had done in the past, we maintained that, that Surprise would have the ownership. So if that's something that you would like us to readdress, we could, table it if you'd like to
Yeah, and so
get some further clarification from them.
and so the item in front of us here, what exactly would we be approving tonight?
So what we're approving tonight is the approval to pay a portion, our 50% of the signal. And
To install it.
To install it.
Okay.
And then it also just clarifies who will be maintaining in perpetuity of the overall maintenance costs, the electrical costs of that light.
So would it be easier for us to remove, not vote on the item and move it forward 2 weeks, or would it be better to try to amend the item?
Well, one of the things that we would just have to consider if we table it to discuss with McDOT, this has gone through to their board as it was, as well as Glendale, I believe, has theirs on their council this month or next month. So we'll, whatever we decide, we'll just have to make sure that it follows with their timelines if they need to amend anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we get them to amend it then?
We can work with them on that, yes.
No, I'm just one voice here. I mean,
Yeah.
there's 6 others.
Yeah, no, I agree, Vice Mayor. I just wonder, like, okay, let's talk about Litchfield and Peoria,
Mhm.
where we installed the light there, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and it's the same ratio.
So that one's a
County
little
and
different.
Glendale.
Yeah, it's not the Glendale. So you
As-
have the McDOT. So to
Yeah.
Vice Mayor's
See, I don't
point,
think we have a problem with the counties.
right.
But Glendale,
Okay.
since they did that strip annexation all the way out to the White Tank,
Hmm.
hey, they should pay their freight, don't you think? I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I would say, Councilman Remley, you want to comment?
Yeah, I have a little more to put in. The Red Bull factory. Who's gonna, who receives the property taxes from that?
Glendale does.
Who does?
Glendale.
Who, a little bit louder?
Right.
They should be paying for the entire street light because the traffic and the reason for the street light is the traffic that they have added by adding their factory. Period. They should pay for the whole deal and for the maintenance perpetuity. We're being nice to them by allowing them to put a street light there.
There are a lot of county houses to the south there, though,
There are.
that would
and-
benefit from that.
Mhm,
Oh,
yes.
by the way, the White Claw,
Yeah, the White
That's-
Claw is down there as well.
so their
and our
property
residents
taxes
will
are paid by
benefit from
Glendale as
using-
well, right?
Mhm,
Or to Glendale?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Glendale's getting all the benefit and none of the costs? How does that work?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand, Councilman Remley. I think that Peoria is going to, with everything else that's going on in Surprise, that's going to be, it's going to be a busy road down the road.
Correct. Yeah.
And we have Amazon coming in. There's another company that's looking at Surprise down in Vice Mayor's district, south of the theater. That's going to cause some more traffic coming off the 303 on Peoria. So I just think they ought to pay a portion, at least 25%. That's my feeling. I don't know about you, Vice Mayor, but, okay. So you want to make a motion to table it? And,
Mayor, I have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
What is the annual maintenance cost for a streetlight?
I don't
Ballpark.
have that. I don't have that answer at the moment.
Okay, and
do
that's
you know?
okay. I mean, I don't know if it's a large amount. I mean, either way, I still think
300,000?
Surprise is going to get.
No, it's less than
Yeah,
that.
it's less than that.
Um,
But
Three.
Surprise is going to get some of the benefit of the light. I get that, right? And I think that's what Vice Mayor and the mayor are talking about is if we're all getting some benefit of it, then we all should be,
right.
Kicking in.
paying for a
Yeah.
portion of it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess too, it's just, I mean, Glendale, I mean, I love Glendale. I love the mayor over there. Great. But I just think what's right is right.
Mhm.
And I don't know when a light goes out, Mike, like, let's say the left-hand turn arrow gets goofed up. That's happened. I've called you on a couple of them. Somebody from staff has to fix that, right? So there's time involved.
Well, and to be clear, Mayor, we absolutely want 100% of the responsibility for maintaining it, coordinating it, and maximizing
Right.
it, all those kind of things. So all that we're talking about is splitting the bill up at the end of the year,
Right.
apportioning it, so to speak.
Exactly.
So we and I think that everybody, all three agencies want that. And then just a little history, we've spent, this has been a rather long time putting together IGA. And so we have negotiated in good faith with the agencies and let them know what we think would be appropriate to present to our council. And as Kristen mentioned, the county's already assigned the IGA.
Right.
So at this point, when we go back, I'm uncertain of the timeline of when we come back, and it's possible, maybe even likely, that the route that they'll choose to take is Glendale de-annexing and then go in the county, and then we go back, and so we'll end up at the same point we're at now, with full responsibility, just months down the road. I'm not sure, but just to set realistic expectations, I think
Okay.
I'm not so sure the end destination will change. It just it'll the route getting there might change.
Yeah. Okay. I would just as soon, that's okay with me. I don't know about everybody else, but I
Well,
think,
Can I ask?
go ahead.
And so this project's partway done. I mean, there's traffic lights that aren't turned on that intersection right now.
Signals are installed, yes.
And so are they waiting for us to turn it on?
No, they're waiting for the road to be built to its full configuration. So the pavement work is still happening, and so once the traffic's fully aligned, then the signals will go into operation.
Okay.
So that's going to happen, and we'll work out the details of who's paying for what in the meantime.
Yeah, it's about 90% complete at this point.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you wanna
I'd
make a
like
motion?
to, I'd like to move to table this item.
Okay.
Hey, a second.
Is that the correct? Table it?
So So it's been moved and seconded to table it. Do we have to say a date specific, Robert?
Well, if you table it, it will come back to the next meeting.
Okay, next meeting, okay?
So I don't think that's gonna be enough.
That's not long.
Not enough time, Mike?
I'd like to amend my
Okay,
motion.
go ahead.
I motion to postpone this indefinitely,
Okay,
or move to postpone indefinitely.
Second.
been moved and seconded to postpone it indefinitely. If there's no other further questions or comments, please cast your vote.
Unanimous yes vote to postpone indefinitely.
Okay. Okay, item number 46.
Consideration and action pertaining to approval of a rezone from regional commercial to public facility with a planned unit development, PUD, overlay to allow for a new public safety facility on Lot 7G of the re-subdivision of Sun City West Commerce Park, final plat, generally located north of Westgate Drive and west of 134th Drive, ordinance 2020-21.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I would like to point out that Jeff Martin, CIP Manager, and Commander Randy Rohde will also be on the line to answer any questions.
Good, good.
The proposed property is generally located northeast corner of Bell and Grand, which is approximately 4.54 acres. The current property is zoned regional commercial. And the applicant is proposing to rezone it to public facility with a planned unit development overlay. This rezone will allow for a flexible regulation for the existing facility. And the proposed land use would complement the surrounding uses. Here is the current regulations for the regional commercial zoning and the proposed public facility. The change would be the side setback to be 0 instead of 24 feet, and the landscape requirement from 0 to 10, and landscape for collector requirement 0 to 25. The new zone change will comply with the general plan under the commerce and office character area. There was a citizen outreach meeting on May 20th over via WebEx. There was one attendee that was approved the zone change. On July 16th, commissioners recommended approval for the zone change. And I would like to point out on the staff report, the El Mirage, the water should be El Mirage, not Epcot water. Just wanted to point that out.
Oh, it's El Mirage water, yeah. Good point.
If there's any
We
questions.
keep forgetting about El Mirage water, don't we? Yeah. Anyway, okay, very good. Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Oh, you got Councilman Sanders got a
And
question.
it's a public hearing, Mayor.
Oh, it's a public hearing. Does anybody want to speak? Sherry?
I do not have any speakers listed.
Okay. Councilman Remley?
This property, this is one of the properties that was included in the GO bond. Is that correct?
I do not have the answer for that.
In terms of building the police evidence facility, et cetera?
Yes.
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 Mike, that was part of the GEO bond. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That was it.
Councilman Sanders?
Thank you, Mayor. And on that, and I know this is a zoning case, but do you know where they are as far as design and planning for the evidence, or it's Evidence Ready Center, right?
Yes. So on the.
Because I thought they were supposed to break ground in this summer, I thought, right?
Oh,
Were they?
Do you want to answer? For planning and zoning, they did approve the site plan.
Okay.
They are going to do phases, phase 1 and phase 2.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. If there's no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve ordinance 2020-21.
Second.
It's Been moved and seconded. If there's no other questions or concerns, please cast your vote.
Unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Item number 47.
Consideration and action pertaining to the approval of a comprehensive sign program entitled, sorry about this, Aviana Medical Office Comprehensive Sign Program, generally located south of Mountain View Boulevard and west of Reams Road. And this is also a public hearing.
All right. Welcome
Mayor-
back.
Mayor, council members, Steve Johnson from Sign Plus will be joining us, as well as Justin Davis, their attorney, and Jason Mussman, the owner. For this comprehensive sign program, there will be one monument sign and one proposed directional sign and 19 wall signs. The 19 wall signs are permitted per the sign code as of right now. The site is located south of Mountain View Boulevard and west of Reams Road. It is in the Sun City Grand PAD. Here is the comprehensive comparison chart for the monument sign. The allowed use as per SUDC is one monument sign allowed for every 150 feet of collector or arterial. And the applicant is proposing one monument sign along Mountain View Boulevard. In theory, as per SUDC, the frontage is approximately 480 feet. So as per SUDC, they are permitted 3 monument signs. For allowed SUDC, maximum of 8 feet shall not exceed 32 square feet. The applicant is proposing a maximum of 16 feet and 10 inches with 99 square feet. There is no maximum distance for a resident in the SUDC. However, the sign is approximately 700 feet away from the residence. The star locates the monument sign on Mountain View Boulevard. In the SUDC, EMCs are permitted for no more than 50% allowed in the sign. And for the foot candle, there is an ambient machine that can measure to comply with the 0.3 foot candle above ambient. And then here is the comparison for the directional sign. The allowed sign is not to exceed 30 inches in height, which the applicant is requesting for 6 feet high. Allowed use is not to exceed 6 square foot, and the applicant is proposing 12 square feet. Oh, and the location is on Reams, as located here. And all the permitted wall signs, which is also in the SUDC. There was a citizen outreach meeting on February 26th at the Residence Inn. There was 3 residents that attended the meeting. They had some concerns of the lighting from the monument sign to their residential housing. However, it is 700 feet away. And on August 6th, the commissioners recommended approval, which failed from 2 to 4 vote. And then I would like to continue the presentation, but Steve Johnson from Sign Plus has 2 additional slides. So can I hand it over to him to present?
Steve Johnson,
Yes, I'm here.
go right ahead, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, welcome, Steve. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Stephen Johnson with Signs Plus. I'm calling in on behalf of the owner and developer of this Aviana project. I'd just like to take a moment to thank Shirley Fan and other Surprise staff members who have helped us along the way in development of our proposed comprehensive sign program. I did have a few slides that basically just showed a representation of the proposed monument sign next to the building elevation of the 2-story building, just for scaling purposes. Other than that, I don't have much more to add other than voicing my support and the approval of the proposed sign program. Just like to thank you for your time.
Steve, this is the mayor. I have a question. This sign here that you're showing, is there any line of sight to a residence? I know it's.
No, there's. I'm sorry.
Well, I know the building's higher than the sign, but is there any line of sight on an angle to a resident in Sun City Grand?
The way that this property is actually located, there is a total of, and I'm pulling up the site plan now.
It doesn't look like there is.
Of 6 different buildings that make up this multi-use facility, and out of those 6 buildings, there's 4 buildings between the nearby residential area and this sign, and all 4 of those buildings are taller than this monument sign.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's the monument signs. Anybody got a question? Councilman Remley, got a question on?
Yes, I'm going to defer though to Councilwoman Hayden because it's her district first.
My one question is, why did you choose to make it 3 feet?
You got your mic on, Nancy?
Why did you choose to make it 3 feet taller than our standard, the city standard?
In this case, there's one driveway off of Mountain View Boulevard that leads into this complex.
Yes.
And rather than asking for the 3 monument signs that we would be allowed along Mountain View Boulevard, we felt that it best instead to combine all the tenants onto this one monument sign that would be close to this driveway, just to make it easier for drivers to understand what's inside of that complex, and understanding that those monument sign that one monument sign is for that complex specifically.
Oh, I understand that, and I respect that, but you didn't answer the question. Why would you make it 3 feet taller than
7
what?
feet.
Am I wrong? What?
7 feet taller.
It's 7 feet taller? 7 feet taller than what is required per the city?
I guess in this case, there's multiple different tenants that are able to rent within this 6-building facility, and as such, we've got locations for 19 different building signs, which is allowed by Surprise Sign Code. And as there's one monument sign that we're proposing to utilize that one sign to identify that many tenants, we felt that it was needed to have that larger sign.
Okay. I just looked at the sign, from the pictures that I saw of the sign, it didn't show that there were that many multiple areas for tenants to put their titles. It was just a big screen. And I just still don't understand why it has to be so high. That's my big question. And my other issue is can it be turned off at night if there is any type of glow that would go to the people who live in the homes behind it?
So in regards to that, I believe that our attorney did have some notes that he wanted to bring forth in regards to that question.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I would go ahead and defer to him. I believe he is scheduled to speak after myself.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
What is his name?
Justin Davis.
Justin.
Okay, now I'm ready.
And Justin Davis is not on the line, is that correct?
Councilman Remley, you want to ask something?
Oh, I'll go ahead and let him speak and then I'll come back on it.
Is he on the line, Sherry?
Mr. Davis is not on the line, no.
Okay, so go ahead and ask.
Okay. Once again, the sign itself
I thought it was on the
begins at about, looks to me like about from the picture I have here, the sign itself begins 5 feet in the air. Right? With that little man standing there, about 5 feet in the air is where the sign itself starts. Once again, what is the reason for having a sign that goes up 17 feet in the air when any other sign in the area does not exceed 10 feet? At other buildings that are of similar size and similar height and similar use. That's my question.
Can everyone hear me?
No.
Yes.
Hi, this is Jason Mussman. Justin Davies, our attorney, meant to be on the phone. There must be, I just talked to him. But anyway, I'd be happy to answer the questions. So with the sign, the way it's permitted to have 3 small chopped up signs just creates confusion.
No, that's not
We
my
thought,
question.
combining to-
My question isn't
Sure.
about the 3 signs. My question is why this has to be 17 feet tall.
Oh, just when you combine the 3 signs, it's actually more square footage than our large sign. And then the 17-foot tall sign, we supplied the perspective to the buildings right alongside it. It looks very proportional. And if you see our buildings in comparison to the other buildings around the area, they have a much more grand storefront, in my own opinion, with a large glass facade, everything designed with the patient and the customer in mind. And we thought
Once again, if you're
sign
driving,
would be proportional.
once again, if you were driving down that road and you saw a sign 14 feet tall that was within your line of sight, would that be any different than seeing a sign that was 17 feet tall that was within your line of sight? So my question is, why does it have to be 17 feet? Why does it have to be 17 feet?
To answer your question, we'd be happy to lower it to 14 feet if it would please the council.
Cool.
Okay.
Because that's where I'm going with it. If it were 14, it would be much closer to complying with the predominant use in the area of signage on the road that it's on, you know, consistent with the neighbors. Otherwise, I could see the neighbors calling up and say, well, why can't I have a sign 17 feet tall too? You know? So.
I can understand that.
Okay, that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, we want to be citizens of Surprise, and we certainly want to do everything to make both the council and our patients and our customers happy and the community happy. So if 14 feet would make everyone happy, we're happy to lower it to 14 feet.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that it, Councilman Romney? Councilman Duffy?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to comment on it because I'm trying to see if I can simplify this. I appreciate you saying you'll go to 14 feet, but what you're doing is you're basically taking away searching 3 different signs to find the office and just finding a way to put them all on one.
That's correct. A lot of our patients, it's quite an ordeal to even leave the house to make it to their appointment. So we're trying to make it very obvious and easy to find the offices.
And I agree. I can't stand doing that because one will say A, B, and C. So I understand what you're doing. I don't have a problem with what you're doing. But like I said, if you're willing to go to 14 feet, we appreciate that. But I understand why you want to do this and how you're doing it. And as far as the lighting goes, I don't think it's anywhere near the housing. But again, appreciate it if you're going to dim it at night. So I understand what you're doing. Thanks.
I appreciate the comments.
Is the, Lloyd, I want to make sure that I understand, is the sign placement closest to Reams?
Yeah.
Or is it on the other side of the driveway?
Other side, it's on Mountain View.
So the directional sign is off of Reams Road. It's not lit. It's just basically an large directional sign into their parking lot, into the buildings.
No, Lloyd, I'm
The
talking about
lines-
this big sign that we're
This
talking
big
about.
sign, the monument sign, Class 6 sign, is off of Reams Road in approximately that location, as you can see. And based on that perspective, you can see the relationship to that, to the buildings. Shirley, if you go to the other
Okay.
slide, now you can see the relationship to the buildings, to the residential.
Yeah.
Also, sir, we do have Mr. Davis on the line.
I don't see any line of sight issue for the sign for, yeah, I don't think the lighting can even be seen, really. But,
I just don't know.
okay, I like having it come down to 14 feet.
Yeah.
I think it's more proportional for that area. That's my feeling. Are we gonna talk about the directional sign next, or is that separate? Because I wanted to bring that up. I don't know why you need a 6-foot high directional when typically on directional signs, it's 3 feet, because it's just in your windshield,
Mhm.
you know? So I don't know why the directional have to be 6 feet. Can you?
So the proposed, or the SUDC permits not to exceed 2 feet because of 30 inches in height, but they are proposing 6 feet in height.
Yeah, the code says 2.5 feet, right? Yeah, so that makes sense. I mean, most directional signs are just for your windshield. You know, higher than that, I don't know why that's necessary. So I got an issue with that height too. Does the applicant want to speak to that?
Go ahead.
Mr. Davis is on the line.
Council members, this is Justin Davis, the law office of Justin Davis for Dr. Mussman. I apologize for the not being able to get through a little bit earlier with some confusion on the height, but we had spoken earlier on the main monument sign with 14 feet, and it seems like that's getting approval, or at least well receptive. So we're happy about that.
Right.
For the directional sign that we're talking about off of Reams, I think the issue with that is it's a feed-in road. It's not by any of the buildings. I think it's there to get attention and being in the same design as the project as a whole, and so as to not confuse with the other buildings on either side. Reams is a major road. It's an arterial road with cars moving fast. And again, I think this is getting, clarity to the patients trying to get to the center.
Uh-huh.
I think that would be mostly an employee entrance. We'd be happy to adjust that to whatever would please the council.
Okay. I would just as soon be at the 30-inch. That's me. What does everybody else think?
I got no issue with it.
I don't have an issue with it how it is now. I mean, at the 6 feet height, it's even with the windshield, and like you said, it's set. If you look at the site, it's set pretty far from those buildings.
Right.
Although if it is just an employee entrance, then it makes less sense to have such a big public sign. That's just
What do you
my
think,
thoughts on it.
Councilman Sanders? The size is okay for you? The height
As it is now, no.
of the directional?
Yeah, no, I just suggested I was okay with it.
You okay? You okay, Patrick? With the size of that directional?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Okay.
If they want to come down 4 feet, something like that, not as big.
Well, I think maybe I'm alone on this one. So I think the council's fine with the entrance sign, so. Okay? You want to make an amendment to, we got any other concerns or questions? Councilwoman Hayden, are you okay? Your name's still on the,
Yeah, it is. No, I'm okay with this. Is that height gonna block anything around it? That's my only worry.
the directional or
Yeah,
the?
the direction. The big one, I think they've lowered it, and I think that's perfect. But the other one, which says the entrance, that they're saying employees will probably be the only ones using it. If that's all it's for, it just seems like they're putting a lot into a beautiful sign, tall sign. I don't quite understand. I would think I, as a person, would use it to go to my doctor's appointment because it's sort of a back entrance and you don't have to go through the middle and weave through there. So
Right.
I'm a little, I guess I want clarity on that one.
I don't think it blocks anything. The sign for the Kidney Institute is on the corner, isn't it, Lloyd?
I believe so.
And it's in an angle.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The sign would still have to meet.
It's just
the
a
site
wall for the fire
visibility.
department.
Yeah, wall for the fire department. Yeah, yeah. So it's not really blocking anything. I don't have a problem with it.
okay. All right. Do we want to amend? Can I have an emotion with an amendment for the monument?
I'd like to add a stipulation.
Yeah, I mean, Mayor and Council, you don't need to amend anything. If you want to restrict the monument sign's maximum height to 14,
All right.
you can approve the application subject to
The additional stipulation.
to that stipulation.
Okay.
And there were 2 stipulations also in the staff report
Right.
that we would ask if you approve that you also adopt those.
Okay. Yeah, there's 2 stipulations currently, A and B.
Right.
We'd add a third one.
Okay. I
Go ahead.
move to approve the comprehensive sign program entitled Aviana Medical Office Comprehensive Sign Program, generally located south of Mountain View Boulevard and west of Reams Road, with the additional stipulation to be identified as stipulation C, and including existing stipulations A and B as identified in the staff report, that the monument sign on Mountain View Road, Mountain View Boulevard, shall not exceed 14 feet.
Okay. For a second to that? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. There's no more,
Mayor, just for the record, this is
Yes.
a public hearing.
Yes, public
I
hearing.
don't have any public.
oh, thank you. Yeah, I knew that. Okay, so if there's no more questions or concerns, we'll please cast your vote as soon as Sherry sets it up here. There we go.
Okay, it's ready to go. Unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Good.
Man.
Good job, Councilman Remley.
Well, I don't know. I stumbled around on that one.
Better than I would have done.
Item number 48.
Consideration and action pertaining to approval of a rezone of 11.2 acres of the Mountain Vista Ranch Planned Area Development, PAD, from community commercial to high-density residential, and to provide development standards for a 1, 2, and 3-bedroom rental community for the entire 29.8 acre site located south of the southeast corner of Bell Road and Saraville Avenue, ordinance 2020-24. We do have, during the public hearing, we have 3 speakers, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Welcome,
evening.
Bart. How
Thank
you
you.
doing?
Good.
You shaved yours off.
I did. Happy wife, happy life. Yeah.
Got it.
I have the opposite.
Well, tonight I'm bringing before you a PAD rezone for the bungalows at Mountain Vista Ranch. I do online have Mark Reddy, the representative of the developer, and I also have team members from both fire and police, as there may be some questions regarding that. Just to give you an idea, this is located between Saraville and Reams on Bell Road. A little bit closer in, you can see the Sunrise and Vista Ranch Road to the south, Sun City Grand to the north. Zoning, this is PAD. There is a PAD in Northwest Ranch to the southwest and to the north. And then we have a little bit of residential, rural residential as a church property on the southwest corner of Saraville and Bell. So tonight we are looking at the rezone. You know, we do have some items in here showing the site plan, but illustrative purposes. But our focus here tonight is the rezone. And currently, the top 11.2 acres is community commercial, and the bottom 18.6 acres is high-density residential. You may remember back in 2007, those of you who were here, that there were garden apartments that were going on that property. And so we're proposing to change this all to HDR PAD, high-density residential. With this, we came up with development standards. As this Christopher Todd project is fairly new to the city, none of the PADs contain setbacks or development standards that accommodate such a product. So this is bringing that in. Just a couple things to point out. The maximum building height is only 26 feet versus what you had with the larger garden apartments. And the perimeter setbacks are 20 and 15 feet, 20 where it's adjacent to residential. Showing the site plan, the proposed site plan that will be revised or will be worked on subsequently. Now, we did have 2 citizen outreach meetings. The first one was in person, if you can remember that.
Mm-hmm.
That was on March 4th, and we had 10 community members, a councilman, and city staff. And the concerns were Sunrise Boulevard, extending the Sunrise from Bell all the way down to Vista Ranch Road. And then also a concern about providing a pedestrian connection to the north so that those residents can access the commercial properties up there. We had a second meeting, virtual meeting, on July 8th. It was about 27 community members, a good turnout, city staff. And again, the concern was extending Sunrise. Some thought that this was going to be too dense for the neighborhood. We actually had some people who were in favor of this, that are tired of seeing an old dirt lot out there. Concerns about traffic, and then there were general concerns about how much for rents and will they be part of the HOA and that sort of thing. So that the one item that keeps popping up is Sunrise Boulevard. And we're talking about over here to the right, you can see there's about 700 feet from their east entrance down to Vista Ranch Road. And so the staff has worked with the applicant to take this from a collector type of road and slim it up to more of a local road with an 8-foot sidewalk on one side of the thing that can accommodate families walking together. Now, just a little bit of background about this road. This road was proposed since 1997. It was a PAD amendment that introduced multifamily in this area, and they showed that connection. In 2007, there was a site plan for Castellina condos, so we spoke about before, and that did show this road connecting to Vista Ranch Road. Now, later in that same year, there was a commercial subdivision for the commercial properties on the northern side of this property. And the neighbors did come out for this, and there was concerns about that road. And there was a condition added saying that this isn't worded very well, but it's basically saying that eliminate the vehicular access and provide pedestrian access. Now, the proposed road would decrease emergency vehicle response times, and it would also provide an alternate route out to Bell Road for the neighbors to the south. And as you know, the Bell and Sunrise is signalized, and the connection would take advantage of a signal to move traffic more efficiently. Also, I'd like to point out that is actually a right-of-way in there now. And what is in there is underneath it, you have water and sewer lines that will have to be preserved and access to those provided. And then crime prevention through environmental design, CPTED. You know, there's concerns about how you design a community and how it works with crime and crime prevention. And making this a pedestrian-only connection, it's going to be 700-foot hallway through there that is not easily monitored by the police. So there's concerns about safety in that respect. Also, I'd like to point out the existing access for this whole square mile for this property. There are 3 access points. This would add a 4th point and up to Bell Road, which is the most used road. Okay. With that, I can answer any questions you may have.
Okay, Councilwoman Hayden? Do you
I'm
have a
sorry.
question?
No.
Oh, okay. Councilman Sanders?
Thank you, Mayor. There's been a lot of consternation about Sunrise, right? And I was at the in-person meeting at Kingswood. I was on the Zoom meeting as well. And the residents that I spoke to, and I got emails and phone calls even after that, the majority did not mind the project because they know, I think it could have a 3-story apartment building there, people looking in their yard, and if a project were to go in there, they had preferred that one. The sticking point was Sunrise. It's interesting to see the plans that were approved in '07, that road was going through and approved then as well. But that was the biggest heartburn that I got from people. Can you maybe share some of the conversations you had with the developer, any sort of negotiations that went on with that, or trying to help some of the residents with these pain points?
Absolutely. So, Mayor, Councilman, so we did work with the applicant. We did reduce this road size down to a local cross section. The applicant is willing to go either direction on this, with a road or without.
To build or not
Correct.
build?
It would be at his expense, at their expense for that.
Okay.
Yes. But we did significantly change that cross section, lowered that down through there.
And what about, so the road north of this development, that is a private road, correct?
That is correct, sir, yes.
And I had seen a couple different variations of the plan, exits moving and so on and so forth. Was there any conversation about, and I did watch the P&Z meeting, and they had heartburn over that road, and there's bottlenecks in there. Were there any other conversations you had with the developer on that road as well?
On that road, yes, we're talking about that road, but we're in design of the actual site plan, will be coming up shortly. We do recognize the issues with that road.
Okay.
And those all will be taken into consideration when the site plan is gone through, whether there's even a connection to this onto that road, or whether it might go up to Saraville. But those are going to be developed through our review of the site plan. But we're very, very, we consider it of those concerns.
And this property owns half of that land, right?
Half of the
private,
up to
the private
street.
road.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry. Okay.
Up to the street.
And so, but the city's position is that the road needs to go through.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Tonight we are determining rezoning this property, reducing the amount of commercial along Bell, and adding high density. The site plan we will not see. It will just go to Planning and Zoning Commission.
That is correct,
Correct?
Mr. Mayor.
So
Yes.
they will make the decision on the site plan. Okay, I just want to make sure we're all clear on that. Councilman Remley, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm still a little Thank you, Mayor. I'm sorry. I'm still a little confused about this road. Is this project that's proposed that we're not going to see again, is this project going to exit onto that road? Is that the deal?
Mayor, Councilman, that will be one of the exits. There will be a minimum of 2 exits on that. Whether the second exit is on Saraville or to the north is to be seen.
And that road's going to be wide enough for what, 2 lanes of traffic, one on each side, one going north and south and one going north and south?
Yes, sir. 2 14-foot lanes.
Boy, as Councilman Sanders indicated, there was a lot of conversation about this. And I was seeing a lot of stuff on this. So I said, boy, we need to be careful when we look at this and make sure that this is really what we want. My initial thought was, why are we doing the rezoning in the first place? Our previous council, our city fathers, thought that it was pretty cool to have about half of that there as commercial. And from what I've seen along Bell Road, we get a lot of commercial development. So why do we not need it to be commercial today? I mean, that question we're not even addressing. We're just saying, oh, well, somebody wants to build something, so let's just put all these properties together and make it happen, without the thought of, well, wasn't there a plan in the first place when we designated this commercial in the first place? Golly, it must have been 3 years ago now, maybe 4 years ago. I went to one of these outreach meetings, and for the 7th time, they were changing the zoning from one zoning to another zoning to another zoning, and back to the first zoning, and then to the second zoning. And don't we know what we want in our city? And can't people make up their mind what they want to do with their property? It isn't just who's the buyer that happened to come up this week. Well, we're going to change the zoning to thus and so. Well, wait a minute, it's our city. This is what we planned. So maybe you could answer the question why we don't need this commercial now.
That very good question. I probably can't give a very clear answer on that, but it's with the current situation of online shopping and such, there's been less commercial on there, and this has been advertised as commercial for many years without any bites on it, because it doesn't have true frontage onto Bell Road.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's a pretty good answer, Bart. Councilman Duffy.
Thank you, Mayor. So I've heard a lot about this, and in past, I'm not a huge fan of zone changes, but I get the commercial part here is already sitting behind existing commercial. You're right; it doesn't have the frontage, and the existing this 18.6 acres. I mean, if you go and look at that, it's awful. I think there's fire hydrants sitting in the middle of that, or there's pipes sticking out of the ground.
There's actually utilities from when the Castellina started to do their utilities in there. Those will be mostly taking out.
Yes. Yeah, and it looks terrible. So, but as far, let me talk about this road for a second. I would actually think Mountain Vista Ranch residents would favor this road, and I'm going to tell you why. The morning and afternoon school traffic on Mountain Vista, okay, let's go to the afternoon. So school gets out at 2, whatever time. Cars start lining up, and I've seen residents have to sit behind and wait because you can't. Now everyone can fit in that parking lot because they all want to go through the pickup line, so they sit out there and block it for 45 minutes at least. So this would be an alternate way for residents to avoid that morning and afternoon traffic, and I understand it because my child goes to school there. There's no way you get me to wait in that line. I won't tell you where I go because that's a secret. But I would think residents, the majority, if this is done this way, would appreciate this road after the fact. I mean, it doesn't say. I can see the argument of we don't want a road like that, but the way that looks like it's being designed seems to be pretty good, and I'm still gonna say that road will ease that school traffic and let residents come in and out in a different way and not have to get in shouting matches, which I've seen out there about people doing U-turns on that right at the entrance in that neighborhood street and then blocking residents from getting home. especially on trash day, which I've seen that issue. So I would think the majority would be okay with that. And I think if this is done this way, this would help that school traffic tremendously. That's all I have. Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? No? This is a public hearing, so who do we have first?
So we have Wayne Tuttle.
Wayne Tuttle. Wayne, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Wayne Tuttle, Mountain Vista Ranch Homeowners Association President. I attended both of these meetings and looked in on the planning and zoning. I'd like to step back to the history of that property because it's been there roughly 25 years since the plat was here, and I've been here roughly the 25 years as well. When we had the project going in here the last time, the agreement between the city and the homeowners association and residents was, and everyone was on agreement that Sunrise Boulevard would end up with an emergency gate that if the fire department or police needed to access for some emergency to the apartments, and there would be a roundabout if the required eastern entrance was done. That was all worked out and settled. We've always had problems, but most of our problems, and I understand Councilman Duffy was talking about the Radiant Church and PEC project, or I guess they're now Paradise Honors. The school traffic, that's been generally along Paradise, and that was because Planning and Zoning and Council didn't allow any access out under Reams Road from those projects. I'd like to also mention that the only reason we have a street light at Mountain Vista Boulevard in Bell was because we went to council and P&Z and continually fought for it because transportation told us a stop sign would be fine there. And can you imagine, with all the traffic and everything that's happened, that we would be trying to navigate off a stop sign? No. Now, part of this, and I did serve as a former planning and zoning commissioner, and what kind of gets me going here is all the work we've put into this, and we go to put into it again, and the developers are understanding. Everyone speaks out. And if this was a requirement for emergency vehicles, and this was that important, we're talking what? 700 feet of road. The city, over 20 years, hasn't saw any way to connect this last 700 feet of road or do anything, but they want to put that traffic in there. Now, I know most of you are familiar with Mountain Vista Ranch. There's very little traffic control in there. There's no speed bumps. It's a blind turn alley, kind of. The lighting is low. So you're coming in and you're putting it right in that turn, right where we've had the most accidents and problems. You're going to put that road coming in and out of there. And you're going to have that traffic from Sunrise Boulevard coming out of Grand that people are going to jump down into there. And you're actually going to probably increase traffic into Mountain Vista going to Greenway or the schools more than you're going to be alleviating traffic out. Now, we did a traffic study the last time we did this, and the traffic study held everything up for us. And I'd just like to say that the whole project is beautiful. It's perfect what you want. Instead of having two-story apartments, it's single-story homes. The developers threw out a great plan. The rezone kind of makes sense because nobody's going to buy into that non-frontage commercial property. They laid out a wonderful plan, and then it just comes back into Sunrise. And here we are again. And I know Mayor Hall's been there before because he served on planning and zoning with me, where we keep running into that same problem. And I'm pretty sure Mayor Hall was on planning and zoning when we ran into this last time. Mm-hmm. And I'd just like council to take into consideration before we throw this back to planning and zoning of what it could mean and what it will be. I mean, just imagine right now when transportation told us to this day, we just need a stop sign at Mountain Vista Boulevard because Reams Road and Bell and all the traffic on Bell would never sustain. There's no need for a traffic control light. And they did the studies. We alleviated the accidents. And the other thing we were told is too close to Reams and Sunrise. And I don't know if any of you are aware of, but the accidents at Sunrise Boulevard at this corner are constant. I'm very close to it. I know there's been a couple fatality accidents out here. And I just worry as we put another exit into that traffic control signal like that, another four-way stop, we're going to increase problems through here, not alleviate them, all right? I thank you, council. I thank you, everybody. But I'd like to say, other than the Sunrise Boulevard, access entrance off of this, I am fully supportive of the rest of the project. The project is wonderful. The developers and city staff on everything else have answered all our questions. I went to all these meetings. We've talked at HOA meetings about this development happening, and everybody's come on to support this whole project. So I just like to say, wonderful project. Let's just get past again the Sunrise thing. And again, we would be more than happy to have an emergency access gate for the city and have a roundabout for the developers and do something akin to like that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Wayne.
So the next is a written statement that is from Carrie and John Prestia. It's 5 paragraphs, so it's going to take me a couple of minutes.
Okay.
I'm writing you because I am deeply concerned about the proposed rezoning of the property across from my home in Mountain Vista Ranch. I'm supportive of the rezoning. I'm supportive of the rental development that will be built there if approved. I am, however, strongly opposed to the completion of Sunrise Boulevard, which will connect Bell Road to Vista Ranch Road, as are many others in our community. That junction will empty directly outside my backyard. That will funnel every vehicle night and day directly behind my backyard fence. Yes, we have a closed yard, but I am very concerned about traffic safety, noise, and headlights that will light up the north-facing yard, patio, living, and dining room, kitchen, and 2-story master bedroom, and of course, our resale value, and perhaps most important, our peace of mind. The connection of such a busy main street into our quiet corner of a street is horrifying to me and my neighbors that will most be affected by this change. The rezoning hearing that was held on July 8th to inform residents of Mountain Vista Ranch was very informative and was disappointing to hear that despite protests from Mountain Vista Ranch homeowners and our HOA, and despite the fact that the connection of Sunrise to Vista Ranch Road was not a part of the development's plan and is not a requirement, but they said that the city has required this addition despite the fact that they pushed back aggressively, according to the gentleman representing the developers. I understand it was part of the Mountain Vista Ranch master plan and that it was always the intention to have this connection. I further understand that this road will likely be paid for by the developers and not the city, but I, as one of the homeowners perhaps most affected by this change, I'm asking for the city council to reevaluate their position on this road. Could this road be built out partially to accommodate the new residents in that community, but not to connect to Bell to Mountain Vista, fire access only, a walking path? I'm a rational person, but I can't understand why we would need a second entrance less than half a mile away from the main Mountain Vista entrance. If the rental community needs access, I totally understand, but in the street there before Vista Ranch, those renters will be home already before Vista Ranch, so there's no need. I was told the city believed it was a safety issue. Again, the entrance to Mountain Vista Ranch is literally a stone's throw away from Sunrise that doesn't hold water for me. We bought our home in the hopes of raising our family in it. We moved here newly married 6 years ago and have since filled our home with 2 little girls and counting. We bought our house especially for the backyard. This year we poured $45,000 that we have been saving since before they were born into this house, thousands of which went to a total remodel of the backyard so we can enjoy it for years to come. If Sunrise funnels traffic from Bell Road into our quiet little neighborhood, the impact for the noise, cars, the people, the lights, beaming through our house will force us to sell the house we love. I know this probably doesn't matter one family leaving, but it does to us. It means everything. Please, as you cast your votes today, think about whether or not we need that road. Can you be flexible? Can we come up with something that would bring value to the lives of the homeowners and residents to Mountain Vista Ranch and surrounding areas? Something that could bring the community and families together. Walking paths, bike paths, dog park, etc. Can you consider the homeowners impacted negatively by the street before you make up your minds? Thank you for your time and the opportunity to be heard. And the next speaker we have is Jack Hastings. Mr. Hastings, are you on the line?
Hey, Sherry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You have 4
Awesome.
minutes, Jack. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. Good evening, Mayor Council. Thanks for having me here. I had a lot of notes on Sunrise, but I think between Mr. Sanders and between the residents, that's definitely been addressed. But Yeah, the issue with Sunrise, connecting into Vista Ranch Road, a lot of residents have reached out and voiced worries about that. And similar to what Wayne said, it seemed like there wasn't a lot of opposition to, the rezone to the high density residential for the hypothetical, Christopher Todd type community. That's obviously, better than a 3-story apartment building peering down in their backyards, like we've all said. But there is an entrance, half mile down. The concern of the residents is that people are going to use that as just a shortcut to zip through. And, I understand that, a road there would decrease response times for public safety. And I think that fire access is important, but it seems that everybody is kind of behind the rezone. And, I myself, I don't like seeing commercial property get rezoned for residential, especially when there's, promises maybe made to residents that, there's going to maybe be some mom and pop shops there. But I understand. I understand that there's, it's not along Bell Road, and it's kind of sat there for 10 years. I get that. I would like to see, some activities for residents in Mountain Vista Ranch that they could walk to. But I think the other issue, too, and I as well watched the planning and zoning meeting, is the street that connects Saraville and Sunrise behind Culver's, Discount Tire, Circle K. I mean, that street is a traffic nightmare. And I know we're not looking at a site plan yet. We're just looking at a rezone. But it seems very evident what the plans are, with the villa-style apartment complex. And, I was there the other day getting my car washed. You have people backed up, in line for the Discount Tire air check. You have employees for Culver's and the funeral home, parking along the streets. You have cars parked along the side. That road is going to have to be widened by the developers. And there's a lot of focus on Sunrise, but that road is definitely going to become an issue. Because I think the road was created. that whole section was intended to be, the top half was supposed to be commercial, and it was supposed to be met with the bottom half of commercial. Well, that road is going to, I know they've mentioned, widening it, but that road's going to have to be widened because, I couldn't even imagine if you tried to get a fire truck through there or something like that, it would be a mess. But again, overall, keep it short. Most people seem to think that the villa-style apartments is kind of the best case scenario for this area, and it has sat empty for a long time. But the biggest issue are the roads. Sunrise connecting into Vista Ranch Road might cause more problems than it solves. So thank you, Mayor and Council, and I hope you have a great evening.
That is all the public comments, Mayor.
Okay. Is there any other council person like to speak or anything? No? Okay, we've heard the public. I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve ordinance 2020-24.
Is there a second? No?
Second.
Second, okay. Been moved and seconded. If there's no other questions or concerns, please cast your vote.
I have 5 yes votes and 2 no votes, Sanders and Hall.
Okay. Item number 49.
Thank you, Mayor. Consideration and action pertaining to approval of the Fourth Amendment to reciprocal easement between the City of Surprise and Surprise Center Development Company, Resolution 2020-102.
Welcome, Mike.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Happy Tuesday.
No one ever says that.
So today we have a Fourth Amendment to the reciprocal easement agreement with Surprise Center Development Company. I'll have just a few slides to give you some orientation on the area that we're talking about and some of the previous action this council has taken with the amendment. So the location we're talking about is a subset of the current lease that Ottawa University has of their development with the Odell Center, football field, and where the dorms and the student union is located. That's the area of discussion tonight. Previous amendment, which was the third amendment, what this allowed for is this land, the city land, was dedicated for government use. And in 2017, Surprise Center Development Company and the city of Surprise agreed to an additional amendment that would allow for university use, which then paved the way for the university to develop onto this site. What the Fourth Amendment will do is focus on, again, a third of the property, and it does two things for us specifically for the city's perspective. It helps with long-term planning for that area. Currently, there are only two uses that can go onto that, which is university and government use. We're talking about long-term planning. If the university were to vacate that area, the city would want to be able to reuse that particular piece of property. So the amendment allows for hotel, multifamily, and conference center in the event that that were to occur. We also believe that there's potential for more density to be brought into that area through development. And what we've seen is that financial institutions like to see that there's potential alternate uses into the future, and that's helped us into the past. Glad to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, before questions, I just want to make a comment, Mike, that you guys have done a super job, because this was a big hurdle that you're overcoming here. Because a financial institution for the whole area was very reticent because of the non-use, that we couldn't repurpose the property in a worst case scenario. And so I know you've been fighting this, and I've been with you all along for some time since we started working with Ottawa, and I really appreciate Rick West and his group for making this accommodation. Very important, very important. Councilman Sanders?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, Mike, it's a fantastic relationship we have with Ottawa. And to the mayor's point, I know the bank that was having heartburn over this originally. So expanding the allowance is going to be very important. Because I know I'm aware of instances where financial institutions they'll finance an aquarium. And if that aquarium leaves, there's not much else that's going to go in there, right? So if you expand usage for it, I think that allows for it. So that's good. So an example, I just kind of want to play this out. If for some reason, Ottawa leaves or whatever, would they just blade the entire project and then put up one of the whatever's allowed in the zoning? Is that what it would look like?
So what this does is this gives the city more flexibility. Ultimately, any project, whether it be a reuse project from the university's vacating of that area, will come through the city for approvals. This gives us that flexibility. What I really like about it is we're not opening up it to 1,000 uses. We're opening up to 3 uses that would make sense.
Right.
Multifamily, the hotel, and then also the conference center. Again, this is something that we're looking at from a long-term planning perspective. When I say long-term, we're talking generations that we want to be able to put the city in the best position possible. Unlikely that we'll be able to use it, but for the city to have these options is very important. And then the secondary benefits, which is what we just discussed.
Are there any more plots of land that we could see with an agreement like this as well around City Center?
It's interesting. So what we really focused on is the buildings that were closest to City Hall and the ones that we would not have a direct use of if there were to be a vacate. What you could potentially see is as university starts to expand, that the city's interest may expand with it. And that would be something we would bring back to council.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Good questions, Councilman. Is there any other comments or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve Resolution 2020-102.
A second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is this a public hearing? No. Good. Okay. Thank you. Please, if there's no other questions or concerns, just didn't want to miss it again. Please cast your vote.
Excuse me. I'm on the wrong one, Mayor. I'm so sorry.
What happened?
Can we do a voice vote for this one, please?
Sure.
Those in favor?
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody against? No?
Thank you.
Unanimous.
Number
Well,
50,
Yes,
consideration.
item number 50.
Consideration and action to approve or disapprove a roadway acquisition and development agreement for a portion of Elm Street between the City of Surprise and Surprise Center Development Company, Resolution 2020-103.
And Mayor, with your permission, this would be a presentation for item 50 and 51.
Okay, you bet.
So this is roadway acquisition. My friend Kristen Titler said, Mike, I want you to present on roadways because you do such a good job. So I'm very happy to be up here today. So we'll provide some location information. So we're talking about Elm Street from Civic Center to 140th. That is the area that the city would retain. Surprise Center Development Company would retain from Litchfield to 140th. Currently, where that blue alignment is, that driveway is misaligned with across the street from where the Irish Wolfhound is. So part of the benefit that the city is receiving is that the developer would be closing off that driveway until future development came in. So again, the city would be acquiring this, taking over future maintenance after the developer provided some interim maintenance in the next several weeks. And the Surprise Center Development Company would also, again, work with the city. When future development comes in, they would be obligated to build that full cross-section. So the city's cost liabilities would be just interim maintenance until development came in after the dedication. I'm glad to answer any questions.
Besides the new seal, would it be striped also?
Yeah, so we're working on a striping plan that would mirror the striping plan near the new tire shop on Elm Street on the west side.
Okay.
One of the things that we're looking at is potentially actually having some on-street parking to accommodate future development to the north of Elm Street.
Okay. All right, Councilman Remley.
Thank you, Mayor. Mike, do they really have to block off that road right now? Because, you know, a lot of folks, when they go to Paradise Bakery, it's not Paradise anymore, it's Panera. To get back onto Litchfield, we take Elm Street out of there. Can't we leave it like it is?
So there are two exits onto Litchfield. There's a road, I believe, just to the north that would allow for that as well. And that's created some turning movement concerns for the city. And when you do look across from Litchfield, from on Elm Street across Litchfield, that misalignment, you have cars that are going across. And I say that because when I go to lunch, I see it every day.
I do too.
The short answer is yes, if that's something that council wants to consider. That was something that Surprise Center Development Company was working on to accommodate the city.
There's a street to the south too, isn't there, Mike?
There's a street to the north of Elm Street. That's an interior street to the development.
South.
There's another way out of there?
Yeah. With a driveway, yes. There's two driveways onto Litchfield.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, because you know, I take the Elm Street a lot, and I know that misalignment that you're referring to. In fact, I saw one pretty serious accident there where somebody had tried to do that not too long ago. But at the same time, it was sure convenient. So, okay.
All right. If there's no other questions or concerns, and this is not a public hearing, so I'll entertain a motion on item number 50.
I move to approve Resolution 2020-103, roadway acquisition and development agreement for a portion of Elm Street.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. No other questions? Please cast your vote.
Unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay, and then item number 51.
Consideration and action to accept the dedication of public right-of-way for Elm Street between Civic Center Drive and 140th Avenue.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for that.
I move to approve the dedication of public right-of-way of Elm Street between Civic Center Drive and 140th Avenue.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. There's no other questions. Please cast your vote.
Unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Very good. Item number 52.
Consideration and action pertaining to approval of the Arizona Charter Academy application for Original Town Site Incentive Program to pay for building permit, building plan review, development impact fees for the expansion generally located on the southeast corner of Dysart Road and Market Street.
Hey, Bart.
Good evening once again. I have a little bit softer one here for you tonight. This is a Arizona Charter Academy Original Town Site Incentive. And I do have Melissa Holdaway on the line in case there's any questions. The school site is located on Dysart and Grand. A bit closer in, showing the whole campus on here. In the zoning, this is SHD CO, the commercial overlay, and we have West Point Town Center to the west. This is just illustrating the site plan and what was done. It's 11,000 square foot building and some ground improvements. So the incentive program allows for 100% reimbursement of building permit fees, building plan review fees, and development impact fees, which in this case is $26,673. And just to also to qualify for this, you must expand by at least 1,000 square feet. They're going 11,000 square feet, and increase the employment by 10%, and they're increasing their employment by 12%.
Okay.
With that, I'll take any questions you may have.
Good. No, I just, I didn't think we could waive impact fees, but we can.
Yes, sir.
In this kind of situation.
In this situation, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, good. That's, yeah. Councilman Remley's first.
Thank you. I pushed the button as soon as this item came up. There's a couple things I wanted to add to this. This building itself was built in part with a special grant from the state of Arizona that was awarded to, I believe, only 4 schools in the entire state, and based upon their academic excellence as a school. And so Arizona Charter Academy has earned the expansion that they've just put in. In addition to that, Arizona Charter Academy, once again, I think this is 5 years in a row that Arizona Charter Academy has been recognized as one of the top 100 firms in Arizona to work for.
That's right.
And that's pretty notable. And you see it from top to bottom when you go in that place. If anybody ever deserved to get something back here on the permit fees and stuff, they have made a great contribution to our community. That's all I have to say.
Right on. Vice Mayor Judd.
Thank you, Mayor. And we have Melissa on the line?
I believe
Is she on the line?
Melissa Holdaway, are you on?
I am.
Okay.
Awesome.
Hi, Melissa.
I am on the line.
Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Hi. I'm good.
So this is a fantastic school. You guys are great community partners. You're very, very good at getting your kids engaged in different community projects. And I'm curious what it is you're building.
Oh,
We have built a 2-story classroom building that houses our 3rd and 4th grade. So there's 12 classrooms and an office. And then we've also redesigned our whole playground area to utilize underground retention. It just helps us expand to more usable space. So it's a great project, and it will help us continue to expand the offering of students in particular in the original town site and other areas of Surprise.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, there's no other questions or concerns. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the application for the Original Town Site Incentive Program for the expansion of the Arizona Charter Academy.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded twice. If there's no other questions, please cast your vote.
Unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Thank you. Item number 53. Thanks, Bart.
Consideration and action pertaining to approval of the First Amendment to Infrastructure Improvement Repayment Agreement between the City of Surprise and Surprise Development Group, LLC, Resolution 2020-90.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. It's basically an amendment to the infrastructure repayment agreement for Tractor Supply. Again, just to review, this is the city's responsibility. Basically, we're just to notify anybody coming in that's going to build on those properties that they have a buy-in fee and refer them back to Surprise Development Group to make sure they make their buy-in fee pay. The purpose of the amendment is basically to amend the budget and revise the cost figures that are associated with the agreement. When they went out to bid, bids came in much higher than the estimates that were in the original agreement. So again, the location of Tractor Supply, the benefited area is zoomed in, identifies which parcels are in the agreement as far as the benefited parties. And then with that, I'll take any questions.
Councilman Sanders.
Thank you, Mayor. Lloyd, remind me again, was that to pay for the water and the roadway in there? Is that right?
Water, roadway, as well as sewer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councilman Duffy.
Thank you, Mayor. So just to be straight on this, so anyone that comes in, basically all this is doing is we're asking them for the buy-in fee. It's going to be higher than it would have been before this bid.
So initially when they came in, sir, they have just their construction cost estimates. Then they went out through the public bidding process and got bids. And when those bids came in, they came in higher. So as part of that, they came back to the city and asked to amend that as they continued forward with the construction and building the Tractor Supply facility. As of this morning, the benefited parcel 1 that's identified here, Omni Storage, has paid their buy-in fees.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's what you said, Patrick. The benefited parties, their cost went up to buy in.
Just making sure no one thinks we're on the hook.
Yeah. Okay, if there's no other questions or concerns, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve Resolution 2020-90.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. No other questions or concerns, please cast your vote.
Unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay, item number 54.
Consideration and action on an annual agreement between the City of Surprise and the Greater Phoenix Economic Council, GPEC, for the participation and support of regional economic development programs in the amount of $66,694 in fiscal year 2021.
Welcome, Janine.
Well, good evening once again, Mayor and Council. Thank you for your consideration this evening of a surprise annual membership contract in the amount of $66,000 or $66,694, pardon me, with the Greater Phoenix Economic Council. Joining me this evening to help answer any questions on the phone is Senior Vice President Brad Smith with GPEC. And he'll be on the line if any questions come up. So let me get started. You know, their mission, GPEC's mission, is so critical to the City of Surprise. Our City Council strategic plan, which is a policy document that helps guide us, really lays out, I think, in the second section relating to economic and cultural vitality, that these sorts of partnerships geared towards job growth are part of our focus. And so I believe we're aligned with the mission of the Greater Phoenix Economic Council and their goal to attract and grow quality jobs throughout the region. They also advocate for our competitiveness So there's many ways that we're aligned, and we're an inaugural member. I mean, we 31 years ago when they were founded in 1989, Surprise was at the table. Surprise is we're one of 22 member communities. However, they have more than 175 private sector members as well. And their core competencies that we rely on a lot are market analysis, site selection. They're great at what they do. Over 5 years, they've attracted more than 200 companies to the region, if you can believe it. They've also helped us here right in Surprise attract 3 businesses over the past 3 years, and we're working on many more in the pipeline. So great things are ahead. So for a community like Surprise, quality partnerships really make all the difference. GPEC provides just a variety of services, and what they do helps us really grow in Surprise and stay at the table. They help us build a bigger, better brand. They provide, they've been critical. They have the most amazing research department. So they've been so helpful in terms of, helping us run some comparative market analytics when we need to understand our competitive position to attract companies. They've been great. They'll look at maybe the operational costs, for example. If we're competing against Dallas, for example, for a project, they can run it to the labor, the cost of building the building, and so really make it a critical factor for us to look at in attracting those companies. They connect us, they support us, and they're a trusted leader nationally in the site selection industry. So GPEC is, I always say they're more than just another economic development organization. They've been a true partner to this community, since Surprise really started growing and getting on the map. They provide a consistent return on investment for the community. And I've coming up here for this is probably my 6th GPEC presentation in this role. And every year this return on investment grows as they've really pivoted and really paid attention to what's happening throughout the West Valley. So that what they provide to Surprise from a return on investment, every dollar that we put into them, we essentially get 18 back with respect to residents employed, within a reasonable commute shed from Surprise or within Surprise. They increase our spending. They've brought us an estimated $5.3 million in direct city revenues. So they're critical to what we do. And this year we've been able to respond to 51 GPEC proposals. So that means what they'll do is they'll get a lead and they'll disperse it to all of their member communities. And so if we're able to accommodate that company, we will respond with a proposal. And so we've been able to do that 51 times, and 3 site visits, more planned. However, they don't locate unless they visit. I mean, it's a critical part of the process. So they're really helping us fill that pipeline. The value provided, as I'd mentioned, it's it's really the same for any member community. So we pay them on the basis of our per capita population. So that rate, it's the same for every 22 of their member communities, 49 cents per capita. And this contract, it's on the basis of the latest official census data, which was about 136,000 people, although we know that's growing. So they're great. We're at the table. We've got board level engagement, and this means we're at the table with regional leaders every month or more. With all that they've got going, the participation means that we're literally at the table. Which I would say, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, right? So it's great to be a part of that regional conversation, and be in the thick of it. Send a message that Surprise is poised and ready for those national projects. They provide us a lot of strategic support when we're looking to locate a company. And I always say, a lot of these companies they're bringing us, we would never know that these deals existed without a partner like GPEC, initiating that conversation. I would say Surprise is a fabulous community. I love saying the name of Surprise if I go on a trip, let's say to Canada or California, and I get in a conversation with somebody about the amazing place that I'm from. I think Surprise is great, but where is Surprise? Surprise is part of the greater Phoenix region. So what they do is they provide that brand identity. And so that's been certainly critical to our conversations. And with that, it's an important brand. It's a regional brand. So here's a quick timeline of conversations that we've had and locates that we've had over over the last several years. We were proud to cut the ribbon with Sika this past year, or Seattle Tacoma Box Company, pardon me, and they're a wonderful company, and and GPEC they've added a lot to our base, and there's so many more in the pipeline, which is wonderful. So one item I'm excited to leave you with, I never quite talk about what's next with GPEC, but they're really doing something that I find personally exciting. It goes without saying that it's been an unprecedented year for all of us. And over the last 6 months, GPEC has been really thinking about and working on a program to really shift the market proposition and create a better conversation when the recovery really starts happening and mobilizing. GPEC, it will be launching a national campaign. So it's a national marketing campaign that we are excited to support from an economic development perspective. It's called the Economic Catalyst Program. There are 2 components to the program, and I'll be brief. The first is the Economic Acceleration Program. So what this program proposes to do, and again, it's a marketing program, and all of the communities in Greater Phoenix have an opportunity to be a part of this marketing message. And really the first one proposes is that we could market to high-wage industries. That there are select high-wage headquarters operations and so forth that we would get unified in our marketing towards these particular sectors. And then the second one is the Path to Opportunity program, which would provide, promote quality investment into particular areas. So it's not just about the type of company, it's particular areas. So, for example, that might be our opportunity zone in the original town site. It might be City Center. It might be the Railplex. It might be the Loop 303 or even North Surprise. So we pick out where we think opportunities, we should be more heavily marketing them, or maybe areas that maybe need a little infusion of activity. So it'll be a national marketing campaign that will communicate the region, but certainly our community's commitment to attracting quality projects to prospects and to site selectors and candidly to the media, to everybody. And they're great at reaching the media. They're great at doing really great national campaigns. So this is a really proactive regional approach to attract new businesses to Greater Phoenix. And from a Surprise perspective, we're excited to be a partner in this. And let's see, with that, I'll leave you with, I'm excited to answer any questions, and really, we're happy to be at the table. We're happy to know the deal flow that's happening in the region. We're happy to be there with partners to help shift that proposition and, just have a chance at bat. For a lot of these projects that GPEC is bringing. Another thing I wanted to mention with 22 communities, we've got a great protocol agreement that it's very respectful between all of the communities. So we don't poach other businesses from other communities, and we certainly receive all prospect information equitably. So they do a great job at really helping us grow, but keeping everybody civil, keeping everybody, unified and partnering, because that's, as we all know, that's the only way that we're going to send better messages to the market. And with that, I'm very happy to answer any questions. As you can tell, I'm excited about the chance to work with GPEC again.
Brad, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. What is, are you guys executing on a real measurable strategy for California?
We are. So we, on an annual basis, and thanks for having me on tonight. Certainly appreciate your city's support over the years. In terms of California, it makes up anywhere from 20 to 25% of our annual prospect portfolio, and we are actively identifying companies in both technology sectors and manufacturing, aerospace, aviation, high-tech manufacturing to certainly recruit those businesses out of a high-cost and high-cost operating market like California. So we have a California initiative, and we'll continue to hit that as well as other high-cost markets like New York and Chicago and others.
Okay. Okay, good. Is there any hurdle regarding workforce in this market for California companies?
Mayor and members of the council, right now there is not. I mean, I think we were getting to a point where some very highly skilled technology positions were getting somewhat tight, and certainly with the economic growth that we were seeing in the greater Phoenix marketplace, the West Valley, we were starting to really consider different types of positions and looking at the availabilities and skill sets in those areas. Obviously, with COVID and the pandemic, it's put a lot of people out of work. So right now, there's certainly availability of labor, and we're working with the colleges, community colleges, and others to really focus in on the skills of that workforce and make sure they meet the current requirements of our prospects and longer term requirements as well.
Okay, and we have Chet Kaiser and Scott Phillips on the board, correct? Representing Surprise?
Yes, that is correct, sir.
I think they do a good job from our standpoint. What about yours?
I certainly think they do a fabulous job. Yeah, I think they're great representatives of the city of Surprise, and we're pleased to be able to work with them, on our board of directors.
Very good. Okay, Brad. Any other questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the fiscal year 2021 agreement with Greater Phoenix Economic Council in an amount not to exceed $66,694.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. If there's no other questions, comments, please cast your vote.
Unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay, thanks, Janine.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
Okay, item number 55.
Consideration and action to approve resolution 2020-104, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Surprise, Maricopa County, Arizona, declaring and adopting the results of the primary election held on August 4th, 2020, and ordering the recording of such resolution.
Okay, I entertain a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 2020-104, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Surprise, Maricopa County, Arizona, declaring and adopting the results of the primary election held on August 4th, 2020, and ordering the recording of such resolution.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Good job, Vice Mayor. Okay,
Didn't even take
please
a
cast
breath.
your vote.
Unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay, we have a couple of executive session items.
Still another item. 56.
56.
56, I have an executive session. What's 56?
I have it, consideration and action authorizing the city attorney or his designees to take any and all action necessary, including but not limited to initiating litigation to collect monies owed by AMR to the city of Surprise.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to recess into executive session.
I move to recess to executive session.
Can I make a request, Mayor and
Sure.
Council? For the sake of efficiency, it's no coincidence this was the last item agendized. I do have 2 executive sessions noticed. If we could handle both
Well,
e-sessions at once and then
Sure.
come back out.
Okay, so item number 58 is the other one. I'll entertain a motion for that too, and we'll discuss both of them.
I move that we recess to executive session for discussion of items 57 and 58 as per the agenda.
Okay. Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we will be taking action on both of those, probably coming back, so.
It's only one action item.
Is it just one?
Yes.
Okay. One item, okay. Okay, I reconvene this city council meeting of August 18th. I will entertain a motion.
I move to authorize the city attorney or his designees to take any and all action necessary, including but not limited to initiating litigation to collect monies owed to Surprise by AMR.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. No other questions or comments? Please cast your vote.
Unanimous yes vote, Mayor?
Alrighty. Has anybody got a future agenda item?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay.
I'd like a work session on the Parks and Recreation Master Plan.
I'll second that.
Parks and Rec Master Plan. Okay. Work session? Alrighty.
Future agenda item. Mayor, I would like an update from Finance on the completed bond projects and how they turned out for us in terms of the cost compared to what we estimated to begin with.
Okay.
And whether we have money that we're gonna submit back into the bond fund in reduction of property taxes, or if it costs us a little bit more than what we expected and we got the money from somewhere else.
Okay.
Is there a second on that one?
Okay.
We could do that in a work session. It wouldn't have to be an agenda item.
Right. Just an information work session. Okay.
I'll second.
Do we need a second on that, Sherry?
Yes, we got it.
Got it? Okay, good. Got 2 seconds, okay. There's nothing else. Let's have shall we have the city council reports? Starting with you, Councilman Sanders.
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Remley?
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Duffy?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank Spencer's Place for allowing me to do my meet and greets all summer long, reserving tables for me. I appreciate what they do over there.
At Spencer's?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good operation. Councilwoman Hayden?
I wanted to mention that you as the mayor and Ken Rimley and I went over to Salvation Army, and we had a little celebration thanking them by giving them donations for all the work they do for us. They have given, excuse me, given out over 34,000 meals and over 5,000 food boxes during this COVID months, and I just admire all the work they do so humbly.
Yes. Good. Thank you. Councilman Winters?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to give a shout out to Janine Yerkovic, our head of our economic development department, and a whole team. When I got the word, the official word, that Amazon was coming to Surprise,
Yeah.
that was a big, big boost. And a lot of people were yelling at me saying that we don't get the big companies. Well, we did. So we have a great bunch of people in Surprise, and I hope we get plenty more of those. Thank you.
All right, Vice Mayor Judd.
And I want to piggyback on that as well. You know, big shout out to community development and all of management for getting getting the Amazon project expedited through. I mean, those guys have already put up their fence and they're already working out there. They were, we pushed that through fast and they're getting to work. So that's great. Also, I'm looking forward to council chambers being open to the public again. Hopefully we can find a way to do this with some social distancing, limited capacity, first handful of people, that type of thing. I think it'd be good to get residents in here again so they can actually throw rotten fruit at us.
Hope not, but just a couple things. I just want to let everybody know the Costco wholesale gas station is open. I filled up there Friday for $1.98 a gallon. You can sign up for membership on site, and the warehouse will open September 24th. Somebody's already mentioned Amazon. They're locating a brand new 150,000 square foot last mile delivery station at the Surprise Railplex, just south of the entertainment center near Uptown Alley on Litchfield Road. Initial estimates are this will bring hundreds of new jobs. Also, I just wanted to let everybody know the Waddell Road Improvement Project is completed. It was a voter approved in the GO bond. It's all done. And Litchfield Road Improvement Project will be completed tomorrow. The voter approved Litchfield Road Improvement Project, which widened the stretch of road from Waddell to Peoria, will be all complete tomorrow. The new traffic signal at Litchfield Road and Sweetwater Avenue will be activated on Monday, August 17th, in flashing red mode, functioning as a four-way stop for 48 hours. It will operate, yeah, that's right, that was yesterday. It will operate normally beginning tomorrow. This project delivers the full design and construction of Litchfield Road, as this was the only remaining undeveloped section of the roadway. Our next city council meeting will be on September 1st at 6 p.m. So that's all I got. Good job, you guys, tonight. This is a big agenda we had. You guys did a good job. So thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
It's been moved and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.